After scoring his 950th goal, Cristiano Ronaldo tweeted, "Happy to help the team win and to hit 950 goals. Always hungry for more." But imagine if, right after this tweet, Ronaldo stood in front of his fans and shared what was really going on in his mind. Imagine him saying, "You dream, but you don't act. Why? Because you're afraid of hard work. I was afraid too, but I never stopped. That's the difference." This is the hunger that never stops, the mindset that turns dreams into history. You know what I love the most about this game? It's not the trophies. It's not the money. It's not even the applause, though I'm grateful for every cheer I hear from you. What I love most is the fight. The feeling that every single day, I can still become better than I was yesterday. When people look at my career, they see the numbers. 950 goals, 5 Champions League trophies, Ballon d'Ors. They say, "Ronaldo, you've done enough. You've proved everything." But inside me, there is a small voice that never sleeps. It whispers, "Not yet." Because the truth is, greatness doesn't live in the past. It lives in the next moment, the next sprint, the next shot, the next challenge. And that's what I want you to understand. I didn't start this journey to be famous. I started as a kid on an island, with a dream so big that even I was afraid to say it out loud. There were days I had no money, no comfort, just a ball and a vision. People laughed. They said, "You think you can be the best in the world?" And I said nothing. I just worked. Work became my answer. Every drop of sweat, every extra training session after everyone else went home. That was my language. When I left home for Lisbon, I was just a boy. I missed my family. I cried some nights. But I told myself, pain is temporary, pride is forever. That mindset shaped everything that came after. You see, talent opens the door, but discipline keeps you inside. And hunger is what makes you unbreakable. I want you to think about something. When you achieve something big, a job, an exam, a small victory, what do you do next? Most people celebrate, then stop. They think, "I made it," but that's the trap. 950 goals later, I still feel like I'm chasing the first one. Because the moment you think you're finished, the world passes you by. People ask me, "Ronaldo, why are you still pushing yourself? You've already done everything." I tell them, because there's always something more to give. And I say this to you, to every fan who watches me, who supports me, who dreams of being more. If I can still want more after 950 goals, then what's stopping you from going after yours? Maybe you're not a footballer. Maybe you're a student, a worker, an artist, someone fighting through hard days. Listen, success doesn't care what field you're in. The principles are the same. Wake up early. Work harder than you think you can. Believe when no one else does. When I was younger, I had nothing. No big gym, no perfect shoes, no luxury. But I had focus. Now I have everything people dream of. But I still train like I have nothing. Because hunger doesn't come from what you have. It comes from who you are. Some say I'm obsessed. Maybe I am. But obsession with excellence is not a curse. It's a choice. Every champion has to choose between comfort and growth. Every time I score, I celebrate. But my mind already asks, what's next? Because the goal isn't the end. It's the reminder that I can always go further. I want every one of you to remember this. You don't need to be famous to have a winner's mindset. You don't need the crowd's cheers to feel proud. You just need that inner voice that says, one more time, one more try. Every person here has a field to play on. Maybe not with a ball, but with a purpose. And every field demands hunger. Don't settle. Don't slow down because others think you've done enough. Because enough is a word for those who stop dreaming. If you can breathe, you can grow. If you can move, you can fight. If you can dream, you can win. I'm 39, and people keep asking, "Ronaldo, when will you stop?" And I tell them, I'll stop when the fire in my heart stops burning. Until then, I'm not done. Because legacy isn't built by one goal. It's built by a lifetime of refusing to quit. So today, I want you to make yourself a promise. Not to me, to yourself. Promise that you will never stop chasing your potential. Promise that you'll keep going when the world says stop. I've scored 950 goals, but the truth is, my real goal has always been this. To inspire you to believe that you can do the same in your own life. Because if a boy from Madeira can dream this big, why can't you? You know, Everyone says they have a dream. People message me all the time. Ronaldo, I want to be like you. And I always ask the same thing. Do you really? Because dreaming is easy. You can dream while you're lying in bed, while scrolling your phone, while doing nothing. But work, that's where most people lose. You say you want to be great, but when it's time to act, you hesitate. You say you want success, but you avoid the pain that builds it. You say you want to change your life, but you keep doing the same things every single day. You dream, but you don't move. And why? Because deep inside, you're afraid of hard work. You're afraid to suffer. Let me tell you something. I've been tired, broken, injured, doubted, booed, mocked. But I never stopped. Do you know why? Because I learned early. Pain is a teacher, not an enemy. When you avoid pain, you avoid progress. When you avoid pressure, you avoid potential. When you avoid failure, you avoid greatness. Look, talent means nothing if you're not ready to suffer for it. There are thousands of players who had more natural skill than me, but they didn't have the discipline. They didn't have the hunger. They didn't have the courage to wake up when they didn't feel like it. You want to be successful? Then you must fall in love with the things people run away from. Early mornings, late nights, sweat, doubt, loneliness. Because these are not obstacles. These are the path. When I was a boy, I trained every single day, rain or shine. Sometimes with tears in my eyes because I missed my family. Sometimes with pain in my legs because I was exhausted. But I never stopped. Because every drop of sweat was an investment in my future self. You think hard work is a punishment? No, hard work is freedom. Because when you give everything, you never have regrets. You know what I fear the most? Not losing a match, not missing a goal. What I really fear is waking up one day and realizing I could have done more. Most people lose not because they don't have talent. They lose because they quit too early. They quit when it gets uncomfortable. They quit when things don't go their way. And that's what separates champions from the rest. Champions don't stop when they're tired. They stop when they've won. So I ask you, what are you afraid of? Failure, pain, judgment? Every great person you admire has faced all three. The only difference is, they didn't let fear make their decisions. You say you want to be like me. But are you willing to train when no one's watching? Are you willing to say no to comfort, to distraction, to excuses? Are you willing to be uncomfortable until success becomes your new comfort? Because that's what I did. That's what every champion does. I didn't score 9 to 50 goals by accident. I scored them because I refused to waste a single opportunity. Because I treated every training, every drill, every touch like it mattered. When others were sleeping, I was working. When others were relaxing, I was improving. When others were celebrating, I was already preparing for the next challenge. You think I never got tired? Of course I did. But that's where character is built. Not when things are easy, but when they hurt. You see, discipline isn't about feeling motivated every day. Motivation fades. Discipline stays. When you make a habit out of working hard, even when you don't feel like it, that's when transformation begins. So stop saying, one day I'll start. There is no one day. There's only today. You're waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. The perfect moment is the one you decide to act. You look at my life now and think it's glamorous. Fame, trophies, luxury. But what you don't see are the sacrifices behind every smile. You don't see the nights I spent alone in recovery rooms, the pain of losing, the pressure of expectation. And still, I showed up. Because showing up when it's hardest, that's where winners are born. So, to everyone listening, stop romanticizing success. Stop thinking it just happens. You don't get lucky. You get ready. You don't wait for opportunity. You create it. You say you want to achieve something big. Then prove it. Stop talking. Start doing. Stop wishing. Start working. Every time you choose comfort over effort, remember, someone out there is working while you rest. And one day, that person will take the place you were dreaming of. I want you to feel a little uncomfortable hearing this, because truth should wake you up, not let you sleep. I'm not saying this to sound superior. I'm saying this because I've lived it. And when I was young, I told myself, Cristiano, if you ever feel like giving up, remember why you started. I still tell myself that today. Because hunger isn't a feeling. It's a choice. Every day you decide, do you want to stay where you are or go beyond? 9 and 50 goals later, I still wake up like the kid who dreamed on the streets of Madeira. Because the dream didn't end when I became famous. It evolved. And now, it's not just about me. It's about you, every person watching. I've shown what's possible when you never stop believing, never stop working, never stop pushing. Now it's your turn. Don't tell me you have a dream. Show me your effort. Show me your hunger. Show me that you're willing to go through the fire for what you believe in. Because if I can keep chasing something after 950 goals, after every record and trophy, then you have no excuse. You have the same 24 hours I have. The same sun rises for you. The same world waits for your effort. So tell me, what's stopping you? Fear, laziness, doubt? Break it. You owe it to yourself. You know what's funny? People always say, Ronaldo, you make it look so easy. And I just smile. Because if they only knew how hard it really was. You look at the trophies, the goals, the celebrations, but you don't see the nights I cried alone. You don't see the birthdays I missed, the dinners I skipped, the friends I lost. You don't see the silence behind the spotlight. Everyone loves the glory, but no one wants the grind. Everyone says, I want to live like Ronaldo. But when they see the discipline, the sacrifice, the isolation, they say, maybe not. That's the truth. You dream, but you don't act because action means pain. And pain scares you. You dream of success, but when success demands your comfort, you step back. You dream of greatness, but when greatness demands your sleep, your time, your energy, you hesitate. Let me tell you something. I was 11 years old when I left home. I left my island, my mother, my family, because I believed that dream was worth it. Do you think that was easy? Every night I cried into my pillow, whispering, one day they'll be proud. That's what chasing a dream looks like. It's not pretty. It's not cinematic. It's waking up at 5 a.m. with no one watching you. It's training when your muscles scream for rest. It's being the last to leave the field, the gym, the pitch. You say you want to be great, but you don't want to be uncomfortable. That's the difference. I've seen players with incredible talent, faster, stronger, more gifted than me. But the moment they faced resistance, they stopped. They got tired of the discipline. They wanted shortcuts. They wanted to enjoy the party, not the process. And guess what? Talent fades. Hunger doesn't. That's why I say the dream is the easy part. The work, that's the test. You see, dreaming gives you hope, but work gives you power. Because every rep, every session, every extra hour, it changes you. Not just physically, mentally. You become someone else. Someone who doesn't break under pressure. Someone who doesn't run from pain. Someone who knows, I earned this. People see me score and say, he's gifted. No, I'm not gifted. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with improving. Obsessed with being better than I was yesterday. Obsessed with honoring the sacrifices I made to stand here. And that obsession, it costs something. It costs us sleep. It costs us comfort. It costs being misunderstood. Because when you chase something with everything you have, people will call you crazy. They'll say you're too focused, too disciplined, too serious. But that's okay. Because they're watching from the stands. And you're playing on the field. You can't expect to live like everyone else and become someone different. You can't expect to act ordinary and achieve extraordinary. If you fear hard work, you fear your own potential. And fear, my friend, kills more dreams than failure ever could. Do you think I wasn't afraid? Of course I was. I was afraid of not making it. Afraid of disappointing my family. Afraid of giving everything and still not being enough. But I learned something powerful. Courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is doing it anyway. So when I see young players or fans saying, I'll start next week, or maybe it's too late, I just shake my head. Because every second you waste is a chance you'll never get back. I've missed goals. I've lost finals. I've been booed in stadiums. But every time I walked off the pitch, I told myself, Cristiano, you're still standing, so keep going. That's how champions are made. Not by comfort, not by applause, by resilience. You say you have a dream. Good. But are you ready to protect it when nobody believes in it? Are you ready to wake up when your body says no? Are you ready to hear you can't 1,000 times and still say, watch me? Because that's what I did. That's what you must do. Stop thinking greatness is a gift. It's not. It's built. One painful, lonely, disciplined day at a time. You think I celebrate because of the goals? No. I celebrate because of the journey behind each one. Because I know what it cost me. The mornings where my legs felt like stone. The injuries that made me question everything. The moments when the world doubted me. And still I rose. That's why I tell you, don't fear hard work. Fear wasting your life wishing for things you never fought for. You dream about success like it's magic. But there's no magic. There's only repetition. You do it again and again and again until your dream stops being a fantasy and becomes your reality. The world doesn't reward the dreamers. It rewards the doers. The ones who act while others talk. The ones who sweat while others sleep. The ones who choose growth over comfort every single day. And listen, I'm not saying it's easy. I've lost friends because they didn't understand my focus. I've spent nights wondering if it was worth it. But every time I score, every time I win, every time I inspire someone, I know it was. So if you really want it, whatever it is, stop fearing the work. Embrace it, own it. Because that's where the transformation happens. Don't tell me how big your dream is. Show me how much you're willing to give up for it. Show me how much you're ready to suffer for it. Because you can't have both. Your excuses and your dream. You have to choose. And remember this. I'm not special because I scored 950 goals. I'm special because I never stopped trying. Even when no one believed I could. So stop running from the grind. Run into it. Let it break you, shape you, rebuild you. Because the day you stop fearing hard work, that's the day your dream starts fearing you. You dream, but you don't act. And maybe that's because you're scared of hard work. But remember, so was I. I just didn't let fear decide who I would become. You dream, but you don't act. And maybe it's because you're afraid. Afraid of failing. Afraid of starting. Afraid of what people will say. But let me ask you this. What if your dream could talk? What if it's been watching you every single day? Waiting for you to finally take that one step. Waiting for you to stop making excuses and start moving? You say, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And one day, you wake up realizing your dream left. Because dreams don't wait for cowards. You fear hard work. But what you don't realize is, hard work is the only bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Let me give you a story. When I was in Manchester the first time, I was just a skinny kid. I remember one training session. Everyone had left the field, but I stayed. The sprinklers came on. The ground was wet, cold, but I kept practicing the same free kick again and again until the ball hit the exact spot I imagined. No coach, no crowd, no cameras, just me and the ball. You see, that's what people don't see. They see the celebration, not the preparation. They see the goals, not the grind. Everyone wants the stadium lights, but no one wants the empty field. You dream, but you don't act. Because you want the result, not the responsibility. You want success without sacrifice. And that's not how greatness works. When people ask me, Ronaldo, how do you stay hungry after everything? I tell them, because hunger isn't about goals. It's about growth. 950 goals later, I still feel like I'm chasing the first one. Because I know the moment I stop working, I start falling. Listen to me carefully. The world doesn't care about what you plan to do. It only remembers what you actually do. You can spend years talking about your goals, or you can spend those same years building them. You choose. And don't tell me you can't. I've seen kids in broken shoes play harder than men in million-dollar boots. I've seen hunger beat privilege. I've seen passion destroy doubt. Because when your reason is strong enough, your excuses disappear. You think you need perfect conditions. No, you just need courage to start. Because perfection never begins things. Courage does. You fear failing? Let me tell you something. Every missed shot taught me more than every goal ever did. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. When you fall, you learn how to rise. When you lose, you learn how to fight. When you struggle, you learn how strong you are. So don't hide from failure. Chase it. Because failure is where greatness begins. You dream of becoming successful? Then start doing the things no one claps for. The things that don't get likes, shares, or cheers. Because success is born in silence, not spotlight. I remember once, during recovery from injury, I couldn't play, couldn't move properly. Every day was pain. People said, maybe it's time to slow down. But I looked in the mirror and said, not yet. Because my dream didn't bring me this far just to stop now. And neither did yours. You have something inside you, a fire, but you keep suffocating it with fear and laziness. You say, I don't have time. No, you have time. You just don't have priorities. You scroll for hours, but you can't study for one. You complain for days, but you can't focus for 10 minutes. That's not lack of time. That's lack of discipline. And discipline is everything. Discipline turns average into unstoppable. Discipline builds legacies. Do you know why people remember my name? Not because of one match. Because of consistency. Because I showed up every single day. Even when I didn't feel like it. Even when I was tired. Even when no one was watching. So I'll ask you again. You dream, but you don't act. Why? Because you fear hard work. Then you fear your own potential. Because hard work doesn't break you. It reveals you. It shows the world who you really are. And when you embrace it, you stop being ordinary. You stop waiting for miracles. You become one. I've seen so many people waste their talent because they wanted comfort more than growth. They wanted weekends more than wins. They wanted validation more than victory. But the truth is, success isn't a destination. It's a lifestyle. You have to live it every day, even when no one claps for you. When you wake up early, when you push through fatigue, when you keep going despite the pain, that's where champions are made. And here's something I want you to remember. When you quit, no one else suffers. Only you do. Because you'll live with the question, what if I had tried harder? That's a pain worse than failure. Regret. So don't quit. Don't delay. Don't doubt. Don't wait for someone to motivate you. Be your own motivation. You think you're not ready? Neither was I. But I started anyway. Because starting is how you become ready. When I look back now, it's not the trophies or the fame that mean the most. It's the moments when I could have quit and didn't. Those are my real victories. And that's what I want for you. Not just to dream, but to live your dream. Not just to wish for change, but to be the change. Because one day, someone will watch you, and your story will give them courage to chase theirs. So go. Start today. Train when no one's watching. Work when it's hard. Keep going when it hurts. Because if you can look in the mirror one day and say, I gave everything I had, then you've already won. You dream, but you don't act. Maybe you fear hard work, but if you ever want to know who you could become, walk straight into the work you fear the most. If you're still watching this, remember, hunger doesn't end when you win once. It begins there. So don't just scroll. Get up, chase your goal, and make your next move count. And if this message inspired you, share it with someone who needs that push today. This video is inspired by Cristiano Ronaldo's mindset, not affiliated with him or his team. It's for everyone chasing their dream.